Welcome back. If you're new to this channel, please go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe, push the notification bell so that way you can be notified when I have all new videos coming out. And if you are, one of my usuals, just go ahead and like the video, comment, share. This one was a little hard to do because when I tell you the amount of backlash I am getting for making these videos on YouTube it's I was expecting the backlash to happen a little later, like when my channel started getting a little more popular and whatnot. But no, it's happening now. I only got like 5 videos including this one and we're already getting it. So I'm gonna start my YouTube videos with disclaimers, okay? Because I feel like with the backlash, people have basically been saying, why can't you just let people believe in whatever they want to believe in? Well, my first disclaimer is gonna be that, well, I would like to think that if your belief system is threatening my existence, then no, I'm not just gonna let you believe in whatever you want to believe in. You are putting people in danger. And secondly, it is totally fine to believe in whatever it is that you want to believe in. Wanting to believe in something is absolutely perfect. That's fine. If anything, I encourage it. But when it comes to occult knowledge and wisdom, the craft of the wise, knowing what is righteous, knowing what is actually going to give forth an abundant life to not only yourself, but not just people, but everything around you, that is what the highest and best use of life is, okay? With that being said, with those disclaimers put out there, no, I don't think it's bad that you want to believe in something. That's perfectly fine. But what you're choosing to believe in threatens my existence. That is why I am coming out with my own YouTube channel to uncover the illusions behind Christianity and to give you some other direction, give you some other things to look into or consider when wanting to have a faith system in this earthly life. So as you saw from the description and the title of this video, you saw that we're basically going to be talking about how Christians used the Bible to keep African Americans or any melanated person that was already here in this land as a slave, or remove them from this land. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. All right. So when looking into basically the culture of slavery in the Roman area, the European area, and especially even the Israelites area, I want to just talk about the culture behind slavery before there was really any mixture of religious context into it. And it says here, masters frequently took advantage of their slaves who were at the beck and call, requiring them to perform duties in public that the master had the ability to do himself. This showed a level of luxury which extended from the private sphere to the public sphere. In addition to showing luxury, the possession of slaves was necessary for a good family background, and many wealthy men viewed their colleagues who only possessed a few slaves as a type of individual who needed to be pitied. So you can already see in the Greek and Roman culture, having slaves served as a status symbol for the upper members of society. Okay, this is before really religion kind of like mixes into it and says even furthermore that this is amazing, right? So we go down more and we actually kind of reference how taking of female captives is encouraged by Moses in Numbers 31 after being instructed by Yahweh to take vengeance upon the Midianites. Moses tells the Israelites to kill the male children and non-virgin females, but take the young virgins for themselves. And then even further more down in the Deuteronomic Code, it says that if a soldier were to marry a captured foreigner, he was to take her home to his house, shave her head, pare her nails, and discard for her captive's garbs. She would remain in his house for a full month, mourning the death of her father and mother, or basically just the relationship with her father and mother, because he was basically taking her for as her own. After that, he could go into her, raping her, and be her husband, and she be his wife. If later wished to end the relationship, he could not sell her into slavery. So that's probably like one of very few things it says out of respect to the slave. So next, I want to get into some of the verses that I was able to find that directly tell you slavery is okay. and also how this slavery is meant to have you fear Jesus. So Peter chapter 2 verse 18, slaves in reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. Colossians chapter 3 verse 22, slaves obey your earthly masters in everything, and do it not only when their eye is on you and curry to their favor, but with the sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 5, slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Now, y'all don't want me to pull out my PhD, David R. Hawkins philosopher book that literally explains how fear is at the falsehoods of mankind and has a very low point scale value when it comes to the log of human mentality and consciousness. Fear is a falsehood of mankind. Fear is an illusion of mankind. If you just look at the acronym of fear, it literally stands for false evidence appearing real. Fear. False evidence appearing real. Anyways, let's keep going. Exodus chapter 21 verse 7. If a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as male servants do. Exodus chapter 21 verses 20 to 21. Anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies as a direct result, but they are not to be punished if the slave recovers after a day or two, since the slave is their property. Exodus chapter 21 verses 26 to 27. An owner who hits a male or female slave in the eye and destroys it must let the slave go free for compensation of the eye. Same with the teeth. Only problem is, when slaves came over here to America and the ones that were already here were made to be slaves, when these motherfuckers were getting beat to death, ain't nobody was letting them free whenever they lost an eye. Ain't nobody was letting them free when they lost a tooth. No, they had to go recover, think it out, and keep it kicking. You're still going to be my slave. So even the very few protections that the Bible so-called has over the slave, we didn't even follow those rules here in America when slavery was a thing. So let's just keep going. During the period of American slavery, how did slaveholders manage to balance their religious beliefs with the cruel facts of the peculiar institution of slavery as it is known? As shown by the following passages adapted from Neil Ray's new book, The Great Stain, which uses first-hand accounts to tell the story of slavery in America. For some of them, that revelation was right there in the Bible. This is how the Bible is capable of allowing white supremacists to enslave African Americans and make laws to do so. So, I mean, just if you're following the news right now, Mississippi is trying to pass a 2.0 Jim Crow law. And if you know anything about Jim Crow, you know that is basically a society where we accept and push the hunt of black melanated people, the torture and hanging and lynching and beating of black people. That is trying to be passed right now in the United States as of 2023 in Mississippi. And you know one thing, if it's going to happen in one state, it might spread to other states and be done in other states. And how do you think they're going to get this to happen? Well, they're probably going to try to say that in the Bible, I'm allowed to have a slave. They're probably going to try to say in the Bible, I'm allowed to beat my slave. They're my property. And this is happening today, right now, in your reality. Yet you care more about being right and in your ego than just understanding that you may have made a mistake. You may have made a bad judgment of character on this book. So like I said before, my disclaimer, there's nothing wrong to believe in something. But when you have a belief system that is quite literally backing the threat to black people, melanated people, mixed people, Hispanic people, okay? That's a problem. That is a very large problem. And there's no way you can find any good out of this. There's no way. So I hope this was more informative in the reality aspect, because this is not just some fairy tale thing. We're not living in some fairy tale where somebody's just going to come down and swoop us up and save us. No. If you do not take it upon yourself to research the things that you are surrounded with and in being indoctrinated with, and not really using your own mind and free will to understand the things around you, you will be controlled by the elites. You will be enslaved by the elites. You will be used and tortured for their own ability to be accepted into the socially status quo for their own benefit. I'm not here to make people feel bad. I'm not here to try and just prove that I'm right. I'm here to keep people safe by enlightening them on the truth behind Reformed religion, specifically Abrahamic religion. Stay tuned for the next videos, guys, because we're going to be getting more into witchcraft and the Orishas and what it was that we were truly meant to be believing in. What was built for our melanin. What was built for our being. So now that we know that African Americans came over here with a West African belief system and they were converted through the church, they were tortured by their masters to convert over to this religion, let's look into some of the things that they actually did believe in outside of this whole enslavement. So African tribal religions are less of faith traditions and more of lived traditions. They focus on rituals, ceremonies, and lived practices rather than a book such as the Bible. Although much of Africa has converted to Islam or Christianity, tribal religions still influence the society and cultural practices across Africa. All African tribal religions believe that ancestral spirits watch over those still on earth and even their descendants. Okay, so ancestral spirits is obviously going to be deemed as witchcraft or demonology, because the book Bible does not believe in necromancy, which is considered communing with the dead. Traditional African religions believe that many objects are sacred, holding magical power. For example, pregnant women often wear charms around their neck, believing its power will ensure a safe delivery of their baby. Another thing that was very popular were the Orishas. Spirits or gods that played a key role in the Yoruba religion of West Africa and several religions of the African diaspora that derive from it, such as the Cuban, Dominican, and Puerto Rican Santeria and Brazilian Candomblé. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrect. So now that we have basically shown that Christianity can be used to prove that slavery is okay, entrapping innocent black people and forcing them to work for your status quo is okay in the Bible. And then furthermore, through slavery, they show you must fear Jesus, you must fear God, and still love him. When we all know that fear is a very low vibrational state of mind, a very low vibrational state of being. Yet your God expects you to be that. Yet your God is capable of that. I don't think so. I don't think so.